All right, peoples. What's up? It's your boy DB4 here, aka the legendary Cage. Welcome back to the dungeon. Yeah, man, we back for some more Pox Nora daily quest grind. You know that daily quest ish. Let's check out the daily quest for today. We dealing with Firestarter and Sunder Day. Okay, play 2 full battle groups with a Sunderland's battle group. Okay. Training day. Okay. Now, we could actually use this opportunity to knock out a bunch of quests in one. But you know what? I want to continue displaying new decks. Now, I can easily just go with our Dragonstorm deck to complete this quest. And just wipe the floor with whoever we go up against because this deck is so effing powerful. And we could do a lot of the heroic quests. We could actually complete 2 more of the heroic quests this way. But I think it's going to be a little bit too... We're going to save this Dragonstorm deck for our live stream. And I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I got some great ideas to go with this deck. So for now, we're going to take this opportunity to display a different deck. We're going to go with the Skizik Menace. Now let's bring it up. Now this deck is like one of the base decks that you start with. I think you start with about 5 decks. A deck for each of the factions. This is one of the base decks you start with, the Skizik Menace. I didn't really use this deck a lot at all. I didn't really like this deck. I don't know why. I don't know. I just didn't really like this deck. I didn't really understand all of the mechanics of the game yet. But, as I went along, I started liking it a little bit more. This originally got transformed into my dragon deck. And then I actually bought a dragon deck outright. And I had a lot of good, powerful dragons. So when I play this faction, it's mainly dragons. I stay away from the Skiziks. I like the dragons and the Draxars, whatever. But I decided we're going to build this. We're going to fix up this Skizik deck. And I think it's going to be fun. So now the Skiziks run with a theme, the Skizik Alliance. And I like these thematic decks. This is the type of games I like to play. I can build the meta decks. I can go spend a bunch of money and runes on the best decks in the game and just smash the ladder. But we're not doing that just yet. Let's go Sunderlands. We're not doing that just yet. We're going to save that till after we do the campaign run through. For now, we're just going to be running with the base decks that you can get free to play, that you can purchase on the store with gold. And we're just going to make little to no improvements. We try not to even buy any rare or legendary runes. But let's get into the deck. First start off, all of our decks got to start with the Angels. The Angel of War. You already seen her 100 times. She has the Battle Leader, which we're looking to trigger as much as possible. Melee Specialist, there we go. And we have the Hunter Walker. Great. Now, this time around, I'm going to do Hunter Walker. I think I'll do Hunter Walker. I'll keep her the same. Then again, we're running the Draxar Consultant. She's not going to be able to trigger her Violent as much unless I can get both of them out on the field, which I'm going to try to do. She has the Regenerate. We've seen this chick a bunch of times. She's in a lot of my decks. She's in a lot of my dual faction decks as well. I love her ability. That Draconic Force is huge. And Skiziks are Dragonkin, so they do get the Draconic Force bonus. Then we have the half Skizik. I think that's real funny. He's a half Skizik because he's a dwarf and a Skizik. I like that. I got a dwarf deck too. Oh my god, that's probably my most powerful deck. I have yet to display it yet. I don't know if I want to display it. That's like the deck I'd like to compete with. So I don't really like to put that on. But let's go. He has Regenerate. He has multi-attack and Skizik Alliance, and he has Warcry. Now Warcry is when this unit makes a successful basic attack. Friendly champions within 3 spaces that share a race with this champion, which is Skizik, recover 2 AP and get 2 damage until the end of the turn. This triggers once per turn and can be affected once per turn. And units can be affected once per turn. So basically, I can only do this one Warcry. Even if 2 units have this ability, I can only use it once. Now this is great because look what it says. They recover 2 AP. You're going to see that a lot in this type of archetype, the recovering AP, and they get +2 damage. So long as he attacks first, everybody else gets if I make everybody else attack, then he attacks. Everybody else recovers 2 HP. So it's like their first attack ends up being 1 HP. That's insane. I like that ability. Then we're gonna move on. We have this guy. This guy is our resilient Skizik. He's resilient, as you can see. Any damage that this guy takes that is 4 damage or less is prevented outright, and he starts with 2 defense. So if you can't hit this guy for more than 4, you can't damage him. And there might be a few ways to, make this a more effective, but we just like it the way it is. It just means that you can't really hit us with weak attacks because it's just not going to do anything. And if we do get damaged, we do have the regeneration and the Skizik Alliance. So we're basically going to effectively be at 3 defense overall, and he hits for a base 11, which is insane. Then if you look at this, when somebody dies, he gets plus 4 damage for 6 turns, so that's crazy. Then we have our Skizik Alchemist. Like, when I first played this deck, I don't know why, but these guys were like my favorite creatures. They did a lot of damage. This Acid Bomb, the Grant Action Potion, they're good. They're great range. They hit hard with a good 12 base. They do have Acid Bomb in Skizik Alliance, so they hit for about 14 base on average. The defense doesn't really matter, and they have initiative. This is when I really like these creatures. Initiative is one of the first mechanics. I figured out how it works immediately without having to, get a little bit confused. It's one of the first mechanics I really like. Initiative. 1 HP for each opposing champion, so these guys can usually come out and immediately start hitting. And with, the recover AP abilities, these guys usually can come out and double attack as soon as you deploy them. That's insane. Then they got this action potion, which also grants AP. He doesn't have Skizik Alliance, but he doesn't need it because he's going to be granting it for other people and things like that. So he doesn't need it at the moment. Then we have the Blackguard, the Skizik Blackguard. He has logistic speed. Basically, once we deploy 3 champions, this guy automatically gets +1 speed, so he becomes a 7 speed. Then he has the Blackguard training. He summons a relic every time he does 25 damage with 11 base. That's pretty easy. Then he has the Glorious Leap and Reflexes. You can read that. That's pretty good. I kind of want counterattack melee on him on Skizik Rebel, but, not a big deal. Oh, I actually took that guy out. I'm sorry about that. Let's get him back. What guy was that? Our Dragon Slayer. Alright, we got the Dragon Slayer. This guy, Skizik Alliance, Hunter Flying. You see what it does. +2 damage to all flyers. He's a renderer and he has Execute. Execute is great. He has 9 base, but the Execute actually makes it so he can hit for about 15 damage on average. Then let's moving on to the drummers. These are mainly support. Now, these guys replenish 1 AP to all friendly champions within 2 spaces. So as long as they stay behind the front line or pretty fairly close to the front line with the Skizik Alliance, these guys are going to be great for our strategy we're going to be doing with the replenishing AP. And with 2 of them out, because this ability does stack, I think they're going to be replenishing 2 AP to our front line each turn. Then they have the Battle Drum, and we can just make them recover AP, extra amount of AP, which is interesting. Then we also have these guys, the Filters, the Skizik Filters. They are energy thieves, meaning they steal energy from the opponent and use it as their own. Now they don't hit that hard, but they do provide the Skizik Alliance, and they do have this knockout ability that's cool if you can keep these guys stealthed, which is very good and pretty simple to do. And the reason why I'm running 2 of them, I usually wouldn't run 2 of them, but I'm trying to get this AP sapping strategy off to its max, and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do later on with this energy thief ability. And with this energy thief ability, it works against your champions as well. But with the drummers, it kind of offsets that because, it gives them AP and this just takes it. So offsets for us, and it's still a disadvantage for our enemies. Then we have the Skizik General. He's one of the best cards. He has Regeneration, Skizik Alliance, obviously. I want Battle Master with this guy, but for now, I'll take an extra guy with Warcry, which is great. Again, to replenish that AP once a turn, 2 AP. Then we have Surge Skizik with, he gets plus damage every for every Skizik you have out, and he has 11 base. Plus, the 2 range is very relevant, especially in a deck like this. Then moving on to some of our other creatures, champions, we have this guy. He has tough, lead the charge, Skizik Rebel again, which is great. He has empowered speed, which is, I don't like the fact that he loses speed and mobility after 3 basic attacks, and he goes back down to 5 speed. But once he gets up to where he needs to be, he's not going to be doing a lot of moving. Then he also has drive, which again recovers AP. It does do damage, but it also adds damage to the person. So it takes away HP, but it also adds +2 damage for replenishing their 1 AP. So as you can see, this theme is still continuing with the AP replenishing, and he has the lead the charge thing. When each champion, the next 2 champions you deploy get initiative. They start with AP, which is great. Then we have this guy. Now this guy is kind of interesting. He has guarded Skizik, meaning the first time each turn he's successfully attacked, friendly Skizik within 5 spaces gain 2 AP and +4 damage for 2 turns. Now you want this guy to just be out there just getting hammered, and then they boost the attack of your other Skiziks. Now the thing is, he doesn't really attack back other than this acid greeting and the acid bomb attack he can use every now and then he has the Skizik Rapture. He gives all of the other Skizik acid attack, but he does have the Majestic with the Awestruck and the Immortality, meaning you can keep summoning him. He doesn't have a cooldown, but he takes 5 HP from your shrine, which is not that much of a big deal. We are running an avatar, but this guy's job is to constantly die and be resummoned, to redeploy the acid greeting, and just keep giving your Skiziks the damage buff there. Then with the Rapture ability, it's a good support ability. So he doesn't really do damage in his traditional sense. He's a great support though, and he's a 2x2. He's hard to get around, things of that nature. Then we got our last Skizik. He's the vindictive one. This guy is self-explanatory. He doesn't really do much. He has Vengeful and Rend and Precision, and he's pretty basic. But he does have 10 base damage, which is great. Now getting into the spells. Now as you can see, all of our Skiziks are real good at replenishing each other's AP and damaging, attacking for heavy damage. We don't have a lot of range and movement on our side, but we do have a lot of damage modifiers, and we do have the Skizik Alliance being pumped to almost its maximum potential. Then we do have March. Now the spells I'm running is more of a combo situation. I'm not running a lot of damage and health spells. I'm running just basically a main spell combo that I'm going to be abusing throughout these matches, which is March of the Skizik and Quickening. Basically for 100 Nora, which is going to be fairly easy to come by, because as you can see, a lot of our champions are dirt cheap. Our most expensive champion is the Angel for 83 Nora, and yeah, it's not that expensive. And these guys are 83 Nora as well, but they're not that expensive. Some of our more powerful, guys that we're going to need to be out are like 50 Nora, and there's not a lot of champions for 50 Nora. So with our supports being so cheap, we're going to be able to afford this fairly often. So we can put out this spell first. We have to play this first. All Skizik recover 2 AP for the next 4 turns. They all have +1 speed. So after, what we want to do is we play this to get all the AP that we lost for the turn back. Then we play Quickening, and we effectively get two more attacks. So we basically get 3 attacks off, guaranteed, when we play these 2 spells, which is great with all of this high damage and AP replenishing. Sometimes we might even get a 3rd attack off, a 4th attack off, which is crazy. Then with all of these damage boosting synergies, is going to be devastating. Then we also have this Vex Corp Ram. This works offensively and defensively. We can put it on one of our guys that's surrounded. We can take a maximum of 3 damage away from our guy and do about 9 damage in an area of effect. or we can just take away all the defense from one of their highly defensive guys and do damage to everybody near that champion, which is great. It just helps us weaken their guys so our double attacks matter, because defense really hurts our double attacks and our AP replenishing, because it takes away the it mitigates the damage for each attack, which is, we don't really like that. So we could take away defense from their most defensive units like this. That's why we run two of them. And look, as you can see, they're very cheap. So for 130 Nora, which is not hard to come by, that's about 2 turns without deploying anything, since we're not going to be playing spells anyway. It's not hard to come by. We can cast all of our major spells in 1 turn and devastate the enemy, completely probably wipe their board if we get close enough, if we're close enough. Then we have 1 defensive spell where it helps us protect our fonts and help us contest the fonts a little bit better. Basically, if we're in a font and we play this spell, when they try to contest the font, it just spawns a free Skizzik for us. I like the Waylay. Then we have this, the Phalanx marker. It just gives us it gives us everything basically. It gives us Arrow Eater, it gives us Regeneration, it gives us +2 damage, +1 defense. You know what I mean? As long as we stay near this Phalanx marker, we're pretty much indestructible. We don't have a real way to move this, but we can leave it in a good spot to where at least our range guys can stay in range of this and still be hitting hard with a lot of defense and regeneration. And we can let our front line move forward without needing this buff. Then we also, of course, we have the War Banner. We are running the Bloodthirsty Blade to go with the Bloodthirsty Angel combo that we always used. Then we also have this Indignation, which is basically, it gives Energy Thief and Call. Now Call is, you get +4 damage to any champion that has 0 AP. So when they try to double attack us, they're gonna pay for it. We're gonna be sapping we're gonna give these to our tanks and be sapping the AP with our tanks and with these guys. And it's not gonna do too much damage to us because we're gonna be gaining AP via our drummers and all the other AP gaining abilities we have. So that's the way we're going to offset this Energy Thief. But this is an AP stealing deck. We steal AP from our opponents and we give it to ourselves. That's the battle group. Stay tuned for some games, and thanks for tuning in. It's your boy DB4 here, and yo, I'm out.